What if I told you the biggest injustice in your life is not that the world is unfair, but that you're still waiting for it to be fair? Stop waiting. Because while you sit and complain, someone else is turning the same pain into power. This is not just a speech. It's a wake-up call. If you've ever been betrayed, overlooked, or broken, listen carefully. Because what you do next will decide if you stay crushed or become unstoppable. The world is not fair, and the faster you accept that, the stronger you will become. From the moment you're born, the game is already rigged. Some people are born rich, some poor, some are born into safety, others into chaos. Some start the race with a head start, others are already crawling behind. And yet, society tells you that everything is equal, that life is fair, that you'll get the same opportunities if you just wait patiently. That's a lie. A dangerous one. When you're told that life is fair, you start believing that your failures don't matter, that they aren't your fault, that it's okay to sit back and blame the system. But let me tell you this, pretending the world is fair makes you weak. Because while you're waiting for fairness, while you're complaining about what you didn't get, there's someone else out there using the exact same unfairness as fuel to rise higher. Think about it. The man who loses everything has two choices. He can sit and cry about how life is unfair, or he can stand up, face the injustice, and turn it into strength. One choice leads to weakness. The other leads to greatness. You don't control the rules of the world, but you control how you respond to them. That's where your power lies. Look around you. How many people do you know who complain every single day about their problems, about how life has treated them, about how things are so unjust, and where are they now? Still stuck, still broke, still miserable. Complaining doesn't change the rules of the game. It just keeps you sitting on the sidelines. The winners, the ones who rise to the top, are the ones who accept that the game is unfair and play it better than anyone else. Let me tell you something. Unfairness is not your enemy. It's your test. It's the thing that's supposed to make you stronger. If life was fair, if everything was handed to you, you'd never develop resilience. You'd never know what it means to fight. You'd never discover your true strength. Struggle is where greatness is forged. Unfairness is the furnace that burns away weakness. And here's the truth no one wants to hear. Nobody cares about your excuses. The universe doesn't care. Your boss doesn't care. Your enemies don't care. Even your friends won't care after a while. They're too busy dealing with their own problems. The only thing people respect is results. That's it. You must embrace the unfairness and use it as a weapon. Life didn't give you money. Good. Now you know how to hustle. Life didn't give you health. Good. Now you understand discipline. Life didn't give you safety. Good. Now you know how to fight. Every injustice can either be the reason you fail or the reason you succeed. That choice is yours. What separates the strong from the weak is perspective. Weak men see injustice as a curse. Strong men see it as an opportunity. Weak men complain about the cards they're dealt. Strong men learn how to play the hand better than anyone else. Weak men hope for mercy. Strong men demand victory. And that difference in mindset is everything. You see, the moment you stop wishing for fairness and start embracing reality, life changes. Suddenly, you're no longer shocked when things don't go your way. You're no longer disappointed when people betray you. You're no longer broken when life punches you in the face. You expect it. You prepare for it. You're ready for it. And because you're ready, you're stronger. That's where real power comes from. Not from living in a fantasy where everything is fair, but from standing in the storm of injustice and refusing to be moved. From taking the hits, the losses, the betrayals, and saying, I will not be broken. That's the mindset that builds kings. That's the mindset that creates legends. Life will never be fair, but it doesn't need to be. Fairness is overrated. What you need is strength, resilience, hunger, and the relentless will to face injustice and conquer anyway. That is how you turn an unfair world into your battlefield. That is how you win when the odds are against you. That is how you rise while everyone else stays down, still waiting for fairness that will never come. Society doesn't care about your excuses. This is one of the hardest truths you'll ever hear, but it's also one of the most liberating. No one out there is waiting to listen to your reasons, your struggles, or your story of why you couldn't make it. You can explain all you want about how life was unfair to you, how opportunities never came, how circumstances crushed you. But the cold reality is that society only rewards results. And if you don't deliver, you are invisible. Think about it. When a man is successful, nobody asks how many times he failed. Nobody cares about his sleepless nights, his hunger, his sacrifices. They only see the cars, the house, the confidence, the lifestyle. That's what the world respects. On the other hand, when a man fails, even if he has the most tragic backstory, society doesn't stop for him. His excuses might sound valid, but they don't change his position. He stays at the bottom while the world moves on. Excuses are cheap. They feel comforting in the moment because they give you a way to explain why you aren't where you want to be. But excuses never change the scoreboard. If you lose, no matter how beautiful the explanation sounds. The winners, the ones who actually shape the world, are the people who looked at their unfair circumstances and said, so what? I'll win anyway. And here's the secret. Discipline and power are the antidotes to unfairness. Discipline is the ability to wake up every single day and do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's the decision to keep moving. When you're tired, when you're broke, when you failed 100 times already. Power is what you build through that discipline. Power is respect, wealth, strength, influence, the kind of presence that makes society pay attention to you. Without discipline, you're just another voice crying about how life isn't fair. Without power, you're just another man the system chews up and spits out. But with both, you rise above the excuses and become untouchable. Look at the people who dominate in any field: sports, business, entertainment, politics. Do you think they got there by crying about injustice? Do you think they waited for the world to treat them fairly? No, they imposed discipline on themselves. They built power brick by brick, and eventually the world had no choice but to recognize them. You can spend your whole life shouting about why things are unfair, or you can dedicate your life to becoming so disciplined, so powerful, that you don't need fairness. When you're strong enough, when you've built enough, people stop asking questions. They stop doubting you. They stop ignoring you. They see the results, and results silence everything. This is why you cannot afford to waste time blaming the system, blaming your past, blaming luck. Yes, life may have given someone else more advantages than you. Yes, you might have been knocked down harder than most. But excuses won't fix that. Discipline will. Power will. Every day you waste complaining is a day someone else is using discipline to outwork you. Every moment you give energy to excuses is a moment someone else is building strength while you stay weak. And let's be clear, discipline isn't glamorous. Power isn't gifted. Discipline means saying no when everyone else says yes. It means waking up early, sacrificing comfort, grinding when nobody's watching. Power comes from those endless, thankless hours of struggle. Power is the reward for discipline. But once you've built it, society has no choice but to respect you. They may not like you. They may not agree with you, but they cannot ignore you. Because in the end, society doesn't care about your feelings, your opinions, or your pain. It cares about what you produce. It respects the man who delivers, not the man who explains. It bows to strength, not excuses. And if you want to rise above the unfairness, you must dedicate yourself to building a life so disciplined, so powerful, that your results speak louder than any excuse ever could. Every injustice you suffer in life comes with a decision point. You can allow it to crush you, to bury you under its weight, or you can take that same pain and transform it into the very fuel that makes you unstoppable. And the truth is, most people choose the first option. They let the world break them. They take every betrayal, every rejection, every unfair blow, and instead of rising, they fold. They convince themselves they were doomed from the start, that nothing they do will ever... They let the injustice define them instead of redefining themselves through it. But a different breed of man exists. The kind who understands that injustice is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the spark. It's the test life throws at you to see what you're made of. Because if everything came easy, there would be no need for greatness. If you never suffered, never failed, never tasted betrayal, you'd never grow teeth sharp enough to bite back. Every single great story in history, every leader, every fighter, every conqueror rose because of injustice. They were wronged. They were underestimated. They were attacked. And instead of crying about it, they let it ignite something inside of them. Pain is a weapon, but only if you learn how to use it. When you're hurt, when life hits you in the gut, you're standing at a crossroads. You can either drag that pain around like a coffin, or you can refine it into fire. You can let it drain your energy, or you can let it pump your blood with rage and determination. That's why injustice is so powerful. It's either your curse or your catalyst, and that choice belongs to you. The man who is betrayed in business can quit, or he can use the betrayal to sharpen his instincts and build a stronger empire. The man whose heart is broken can spend his life bitter and weak, or he can use that heartbreak to harden his spirit and focus his energy. The man who is mocked, dismissed, humiliated can crawl into the shadows, or he can channel the humiliation into a relentless drive to prove every single person wrong. You see, the same event can create two completely different outcomes depending on how you respond. One man becomes crushed, another becomes unbreakable. One man quits, another builds. One man blames life, another uses life's cruelty as fuel to rise. The injustice itself doesn't decide your future, you do. And here's the brutal truth. Life is going to hand you injustice whether you like it or not. You cannot avoid it. Someone will betray you. Someone will cheat you. Someone will mock you. Someone will overlook you when you deserve the recognition. Life will throw punches you never saw coming. But those punches are not meant to finish you. They are meant to test your resilience. They are meant to see if you have the spine to take the hit and still move forward. The strongest men, the ones who dominate, don't pray for a life without injustice. They embrace it. They know every hit they take is just more weight added to the barbell. And when they lift it, they grow stronger. That's why when the world knocks them down, they don't cry. They laugh because they know they're being handed another chance to sharpen themselves into something indestructible. It's easy to let injustice crush you. That requires no effort. That's why the majority of people stay broken. They give up at the first sign of unfairness, the first taste of struggle. But to take injustice, to swallow the pain, to burn it into fuel, and keep going when everything is against you, that is rare. That is what separates men who are remembered from men who are forgotten. So every time you face injustice, ask yourself one question. Is this going to bury me or is this going to build me? Because the decision is yours. Nobody can choose for you. The world may hand you cruelty, betrayal, and pain, but it cannot dictate how you use it. That power is yours alone. And when you choose to use injustice as fuel, you become unstoppable. Because nothing can break a man who refuses to stay broken. Nothing can stop a man who turns every failure into a lesson, every betrayal into fire, every wound into armor. That's the secret no one wants to face. The people who win are not the ones who had it easy, but the ones who decided that no amount of injustice would ever be enough to make them quit. So here we are. We've talked about injustice. We've talked about how life will hit you, how society doesn't care about your excuses, and how every injustice you suffer is either your downfall or your fuel. And now it's time for you to decide what you're going to do about it. Listen to me. Life is never going to knock politely at your door and hand you success. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to fix the unfairness. You either step up and build yourself into a weapon, or you stay where you are, forgotten, overlooked, crushed. Those are the only two outcomes. You say, but Andrew, life's not fair. And I'll look you in the eyes and say, so what? What are you going to do about it? You say, but Andrew, people betrayed me. They laughed at me. They rejected me. And I'll say, good. That's fuel. That's fire. That's your chance to become unstoppable. What's your excuse now? You say, but Andrew, I'm tired. I've failed too many times. And I'll say, fail again. Fail bigger. Fail harder. But don't you dare quit, because every failure is just another lesson sharpening you into a stronger, smarter, deadlier version of yourself. The problem is most of you are waiting for luck, waiting for opportunity, waiting for life to be fair. Let me tell you the truth. Waiting is killing you. Waiting is weakness. Waiting is cowardice. The man who waits will always lose to the man who acts. Even if that man starts at the bottom, even if he has nothing, he'll climb. Because action beats excuses every single time. You want respect? Earn it. You want freedom? Build it. You want victory? Take it. Because nobody is going to hand it to you. The world respects only results. The world bows only to strength. And you will never earn either if you keep crying about what you don't have. You see, life is a war. And in war, nobody cares if the battlefield is unfair. Nobody cares if the enemy had more weapons, more men, more resources. You don't write a history book filled with excuses. You write it with victories. And if you want your name written in the story of greatness, you better start fighting like your life depends on it. Because it does. You say, but Andrew, it's hard. Of course it's hard. That's the point. If it were easy, everyone would be strong, everyone would be rich, everyone would be free. Hard is the filter. Hard is what separates kings from peasants, lions from sheep. And when you conquer what's hard, when you push through what most men are too weak to face, you step into a world where very few people exist. A world of respect, a world of power, a world of freedom. You must become addicted to struggle, addicted to pain, addicted to discipline. Because those are the tools that carve you into someone the world cannot ignore. You think greatness comes from comfort? Never. Comfort is the coffin where ambition dies. Get uncomfortable. Stay uncomfortable. Stake the storm, because it's in the storm, that your power is born. You say, but Andrew, I don't know if I can do it. And I'll tell you, you don't have a choice. If you don't, you'll stay broke, weak, forgotten. But if you do, if you take every injustice and use it as fuel, there is no force on earth that can stop you. Remember this. Nobody cares about the weight you carry. They care about whether you lifted it. Nobody cares about your pain. They care about whether you transformed it. Nobody cares about your excuses. They care about your results. And you either give them results or you stay invisible. So what will it be? Will you be the man crushed under the weight of injustice? Or will you be the man who picks up that weight, throws it on his shoulders, and climbs to the top of the mountain with it? Will you be the man who blames the world? Or will you be the man the world is forced to bow down to because you refuse to quit, refuse to complain, refuse to accept weakness? The choice is yours. It always has been. And if you walk out of here with nothing else, walk out with this. Life is unfair. Life is brutal. Life is a test. And the only men who win are the ones who stand tall, stare injustice in the face, and say, you will not break me. You will make me. Now go. Turn your pain into power. Turn your injustice into fuel. and turn your life into something so legendary that even your enemies will have no choice but to respect you.